Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Silver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Silver.
It's Marshall Silver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
And we are live on Marshall Silver Live. You know, that's the thing about life. You don't really know what's going to happen. Life is like a box of chocolates, says my friend. One of the things that I also know is that luck favors the prepared. My belief has always been luck. Luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. One day I was at Necker Island with Sir Richard Branson, his private island down in the British Virgin Islands. And we were talking about life in general. And we were talking about luck. And I said, yeah, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. He said, yes. And then there's luck. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, no matter how much you prepare to increase your fortune, there's also the fact that there's fortune. I said, what do you mean? At the time, he said, if Bill Gates was born sooner or later, he wouldn't have been in the same place. And so part of what you've got to do is figure out, number one, how do you set yourself up for luck? How do you put yourself in a position to receive that luck? And then ultimately, are you even ready to receive that good fortune? You're looking for a new significant other. You wake up from a nap. It's 10 o'clock at night. You stumble weary-eyed, hair a mess, clothes disheveled down to the convenience store for a snack, and in walks the love of your life. But because you weren't prepared, they don't have anything to do with your sorry butt. They're moving on, baby. So what do? You have to expect good fortune to begin with. So that expectation, since what you focus on expands, the mental expectation will allow you to see the good luck around you. I believe in God because I've seen too many miracles. On the other hand, I expect to see miracles because I know that I am a chosen person. I am favored by God. Are you? And if you said no, the question is, what made you say no? It was a choice. You could have said yes. You could have said no. You said no. Well, if you say no, guess what? You won't notice when God is attempting to favor you, when the universe is attempting to line up to make everything work for you. First thing you've got to do is have a high mental expectation of that great fortune. Step number two, in order to increase the likeliness of your great fortune, you have to enter into target-rich environments. Now, in sales, a target-rich environment is a would and a could. Somebody that would want what you were selling and, even more importantly, could afford it. Doesn't do you any good to have something that everybody wants that they can't afford. So make sure that they both would want it and they could afford it. On the other hand, doesn't do you any good to have something that be in an environment where everybody has lots of money and your offer is not appealing to them. Number one, your mindset, an expectation of good fortune. Number two, be in an environment where fortune could happen. If you are wanting to get lucky, have good fortune in finding a mate, then you should probably hang out in places where people that would fit the description of your prospective mate would live. If you are seeking to become lucky in investments, then what you should do is figure out where's the money, which I'm going to talk about on this show. You need to figure out where's the money. And unfortunately, since a fish doesn't know it's in water, sometimes people think I have X, Y would be an amazing increase in the quality of my life, not knowing that Z, 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 Z was available, and you just didn't know it was available. If I am making $50,000 a year and somebody comes along and says, look, I want to show you how to make $150,000 a year, triple my money, then that's going to be interesting to me. If I'm making $1 million a year and you tell me, hey, I want to teach you how to make $150,000 a year, I'm going to say, well, I'm not interested in that. Why would I do that? So until you stretch your mind, until you stretch your life and your living, you don't know what's available. A fish doesn't know it's in water, that's for sure. A fish doesn't know that there is more available. And often on a subconscious level, we say no to opportunities when we think they are beyond our self-esteem or our worthiness. Yes, I'll repeat that again. Often, human beings say no to opportunities when they believe it is beyond either their ability or their self-worth, meaning I don't want to invest in this thing, even though I've seen it work for everybody else. I don't want to invest in this training or in real estate or my own business, even though I've seen it work for other people. Some of my friends are doing extremely well. They've just got talents and skill sets and connections and abilities that I don't have. Or they say, yeah, it's worked for everybody else, but I know me. I'm just not going to do it. And that is, to me, the biggest crime is people that could succeed and have everything they want that simply don't follow through because of their own fear, their own self-loathing, and their own inability to actually know they're a king's kid. And then finally, the final thing that you need to do to create luck is you've got to execute on luck. If I am looking for the love of my life and I go into 7-Eleven looking perfect, wearing a suit and tie, thank you, Justin, and I walk into that 7-Eleven, there's the love of my, if I don't approach her, if I don't say hello, if I don't interact, guess what? I didn't take the action necessary to activate my luck and my good fortune. How stupid is that? So, what are we here to talk about today? I am, again, and I'm spot on. I am right on this one. I myself consider myself a barometer of human condition. I've got 10 siblings. I have 4 brothers. I have 6 sisters, all biological, all born from the same mom. And I think that it gave me the ability to read people. I also, as a hypnotist, consider all sources. So if I'm talking to somebody, I'll note not just what they're saying, I'll note what are they wearing, not just to judge them on what they're wearing. I'm looking for clues. I might look and see, do they have are they wearing a wedding ring? Do they have a tan where a wedding ring was, which could mean a transition or could be deception on their part? They could have just come from their mistress's apartment. Do they look agitated? Do they keep checking their phone? Is there a picture? If they do check their phone and I catch their screen saver, is it a picture of their family or is it a picture of money? Because whatever you have on your screensaver right now, that's you. I guarantee you. Whatever you have on your screensaver is you. If you have some avatar of a dragon breathing fire, that's you. If you have a picture of food, that's you. If you have a picture of whatever you have, that's you. So take a look at your phone right now. That's what's most important to you, I guarantee you. Hard to see in the reflection. If you're looking at my phone, obviously you can see there's my wife and my children. That's what's important to me. So as a cold reader, which is, by the way, something you're going to learn at Turning Point, you learn to read body language. You learn to find clues. Are the clues always accurate? Sometimes. Sometimes they're specifically lies, though. Sometimes they're intentional lies that somebody is attempting to deceive you. I was sitting in a restaurant. I was about to do Late Night with David Letterman. I had my Rolex on my wrist. It's a very high-end Rolex. These days, it's probably worth in the neighborhood of, $400,000. I'm wearing the watch. I'm at a restaurant outside the studios where Letterman tapes. And this woman sits down at the table beside me. And I'm dining by myself. She's dining with the guy. And she looks over. She keeps glancing at my watch. And at one point she says, "Is that real?" And I said, "No, it's just a good fake." And she paused for a second. She said, "Then it's real." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "If it were fake, you would have told me it was real. If it were real, you would tell me it's fake so nobody bothers you or robs you." I said, "Wow, thanks." That's all I could say. There's nothing more to say. She busted me. So look for clues. Are they posing too hard? Are they trying too hard? Are they unable to make fun of themselves? Are they constantly darting away? Do their eyes go up and right or up and left? Because they're two different meanings. So once you can understand that you're in a target rich environment and you're executing on making your luck happen, the final thing needed to create massive fortune in your life is persistence in all things. Persist, keep going, don't stop, play with life's resistance, and make the journey fun. So, at any rate, we've been talking about notes a bit. And like I said, I consider myself very aware of what's happening. And so, I want to give a little bit of a background before I start going forward and helping you understand notes at a higher level. What are notes? Notes are, when you're investing in real estate, there's basically two sides to every transaction. Two sides to every transaction. There is the asset side of things. What is the asset side of things? The asset side of things is the property itself. It's the land, it's the commercial building, it's the apartment building, it's the condos, it's the single family home. The asset is that physical asset. If you are investing in the physical asset, that is one side of the equation. That means you look for properties that you can buy discounted, uh, 20, 30, 40, 50% off what is considered the average value of that property. And then you've got to contend with the physical asset itself. You got to contend with the property. Does it need maintenance? Has it been deferred? Is there anything about that property physically that you've got to tend to? If you own the property and rent it, you got to deal with tenants. You got to deal with repairs. You got to deal with insurance. You got to deal with everything that a homeowner needs to deal with. If you are buying and selling properties, same thing. You gotta buy it, even if you're wholesaling. You gotta find a seller. You gotta find a buyer. You gotta do that whole process. It could be you get stuck when you wholesale that property and you lose your earnest money, you lose your good faith money, and you're stuck with a property. It could be you buy it with the intention of flipping it, and it doesn't sell right away. Maybe there's a challenge in the marketplace. Maybe there was something wrong with the house that you didn't know. And what happens is you then have to carry that property, which is going to cut into your profits and could very possibly lose you money if there was some other reason that you didn't realize in doing your research that property was being sold at the discount in the first place. On the other side of it is the note, is the mortgage, is the finance side of that transaction. On the note side of things, done properly, the moment you invest in something, you have an immediate profit. So let me explain this to you in simpler terms. I've talked about this a lot, so I'm going to cover it again because I want you to get this. You'll understand why I'm giddy, why the majority of my investments right now, especially in this election year, are going to be into real estate notes, and why you should be pondering them too, and why I'd like to be the guy that sells you a training course to help you jump into this massively lucrative market right now, today, starting today. Give you a big discount, let you get educated to the point where you can start doing deals literally within the next 5 to 10 days. On the note side of things, let's imagine you want to buy an asset. You're a real estate investor, and you want to buy an asset for $1 million. And traditionally, certainly you can do better, you can do worse. You don't need to argue with me about the specifics of the deal. I'm just using this as an example. Let's imagine in a traditional transaction that you buy the $1 million property, you put $200,000 down as your down payment, you go to a bank, the bank loans you $800,000, you buy the property. Some people are under the illusion that they own the house because it's in their name, which is true. You do own the house. You do have to pay insurance. You do have to take care of maintenance. You're going to have to cover any upgrades or any incidental costs. Yes, you own the house to that degree, but until you pay off that $800,000, guess what? You don't own the house. The bank owns the house. Because if you stop paying on that note, the bank says we're taking the house. Now, the moment you signed that mortgage note for $800,000, the moment you signed that, the bank profited $200,000. They just made 25% return upon signing of that document by you. They just made a 25% return on their money. How's that? They just bought $1 million property for $800,000. Benny Aroma is asking, do you need a lot of money to invest in notes? Good question. The answer is you don't need a lot of money. You do need some money. Unlike, and again, this is the other reason I like dealing with people that understand notes. I like dealing with banker types. And some of you won't like what I'm about to say. So I'm going to say it anyway, because it may be you. And if it's you, you need to pay attention. Traditionally, people that are trained in investing in real estate have been sold. I wouldn't say it's an out and out lie. It's a factual untruth, though. They've been sold on the concept, excuse me, of buying real estate, no money down, none of your own credit, have bad credit, have debt. You can still buy and sell real estate and make a fortune. Yes, you can. It is possible. There are deals out there, no money down, none of your own credit. And in fact, one of the greatest trainers in that is a friend of mine, a student of ours, Andrew Schlegg, doing a course right now, teaching people how to do owner financing. Yes, you can. But here's the challenge with that. Even if you do that deal, no credit, no money, there's limited number of deals available. They're almost always in some kind of trouble because the only reason the owner is financing it is they couldn't sell it traditionally. So there's going to be some kind of a complication. Now let's look at the returns. What are the returns likely to be? The returns are likely to be on a decent flip, on a decent fix and flip or a decent wholesale deal, anywhere on the low end, $5,000, usually on the upper end around $50K. Not bad, good money. One of those deals a month, yeah, you got yourself a good life. Except once again, they're few and far between. On the note side of things, you bought that house for $1 million. You put down $200,000. You borrowed $800,000. You're now carrying a mortgage. Here's the math. The bank's going to charge you whatever the going rate is. Right now, high sevens, maybe even 8% if you don't have great credit. Even if you have great credit, right now you're paying high sevens guaranteed. On that note, you start paying, and you pay for 15 years. At 15 years, if you break down the report of what you paid down on the principal, on the $800,000, you've paid down about $200,000 worth of principal. You've paid in, though, in dollar amount in 15 years, you've paid in approximately $1.2 million on that $800,000 note. Of that 1.2, $200,000 was applied to your principal. You still owe $600,000. The bank only loaned you $800,000. They have collected, at this point, they have collected $1.2 million from you. They've made their $800,000 they gave you back, plus 50% more. They also, though, have a note worth $600,000 to you, meaning you still owe them $600,000 more, which means ultimately you owe them $600,000 more plus interest. But even if you paid off that note today, they'd receive $1.8 million back from you on an $800,000 loan. 125% return on investment. Not bad. Makes you kind of want to be the bank now, doesn't it? So why would the bank, when you've got a performing loan, want to sell that loan? Well, the bank has a lot of loans going on. And every time the bank originates a loan, chances are they get some kind of fees, points, or they get some extra profits every time that loan is rewritten, which they do. The second reason the bank may want to rewrite that loan, they may want to sell it for less than it's worth. A performing loan, usually anywhere between 90 and 80% of value is the going price of a performing loan. So why would they sell a performing loan? Because they want to bundle it up and get a big load of cash because of one word, velocity. Velocity is the speed and frequency in which money changes hands. Velocity, as it pertains to an individual, is how many times can you invest a particular asset? How many times can you put $1 into the machine and have it kick back out too? So in velocity, the bank would rather than collect your nice steady payment every single month, which is fine, all well and good, but that's not the business banks are in. Banks are in the business of making as much money as they can. So you should be a bank. The point of it is, though, if they just set on that, yeah, they'll get a nice steady return, whatever your interest rate was, 8% on their money. It's good. It's huge. But if they sell that note, let's imagine that they even sold that note for easy math, 50 cents on the dollar. They sold the note to you or someone like you for $300,000. They took that $300,000, they planted it somewhere else, they loaned it to somebody else, they rinse, they repeat, and they leverage that through velocity by repeatedly investing that money again and again and again. Called churn rate. So while they are investing in other properties, you've bought the note for $300,000. The loan holder, the mortgage holder, owes you $600. So you bought it for $300. You automatically just made $300,000, 100% return on your investment. Non-performing notes, even better. I mean, guaranteed you're likely to get them for 70 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, 30 cents, 25 cents on the dollar. I can show you a list through our organization of numerous properties that are available, both performing and non-performing notes. Let's just imagine, though, just for the math, that's all I'm saying. I'm not suggesting you can get a performing note for 50 cents on the dollar. I'm just giving you an example. And yes, they are available. It does happen. But here's the deal. You bought that note for $300,000. $600,000 is owed on the note. The note's at 8%. The mortgage holder, the person making the payments, is making those payments with interest to you now. So now you're getting that 8% on the note. In addition, you're getting all the payments on that $600,000. Let's imagine the person decides to refinance. They refinance their note. They get a $600,000 loan elsewhere. They pay you off. Guess what? You got interest payments that they made in the meantime. Plus, you bought the note. So you got that return on the note, 100% return on your money. But let's imagine worst case scenario. They default on the note. 15 years in, they still owe $600,000. COVID, lockdown, scamdemic occurs. They can't make their payments anymore. They got to give up the note. Well, you hold the note. So if they've got to give up the note, they've got to give up control of the property, which means you just got a property because they've given it up to you. Now you're the bank for $300,000 that likely in 15 years has gone from $1 million worth of value to likely probably around 1.2. Not unreasonable, probably about 1.2 in 15 years. So you just bought a $1.2 million asset for $300,000, even selling it at a discount, sell it for $1 million, sell it quickly, you still just netted $700,000. Imagine that notes are like somebody winning the lottery. What most people don't know is if somebody wins $100 million in the lottery, it's payable over 40 years. If you win on America's Got Talent, you win $1 million on America's Got Talent, you're going to actually win a contract that pays you $25,000 a year for 40 years. So you win the lottery, you win $10 million. They say you can either take the money over 40 years or we'll give you a lump sum, usually around 60% of the prize. So we'll give you a lump sum payment today before taxes of $6 million. If you'll take that and go away, that's what we'll do to call this even. So even though you won 10, they're paying you 6 now. Why do they want to do that? Because they know the value of keeping the money in their pocket. It's a note. But what you might not know is there are people who make a living finding lottery winners, telling them rather than give you 60 cents on the dollar, 6 million for your 10 million win, we'll give you $7 million right now, today, for your $10 million win. Why would they do that? Because they're just going to amortize that. They're just going to sit and collect payments on that winning over time and take that note over. Does this make any sense to you? If it does make sense to you, that's note investing. So now that said, what are the downsides? What are the things that can work against you? What are some of the questions you might have about building a multi-million-dollar note portfolio? Like I said, I've been talking about notes a lot lately. I'd like to give you an opportunity to invest in notes. And let me just pull up some of the questions we received from you. Hold on. There we go. All righty, your questions on investing in notes. Question number one. I'm new to investing in real estate notes. Please explain the basic concept, how it differs from other types of real estate investments. Kind of already covered that. How does it differ? You're not buying the property, you're buying the note. The note is different. And when push comes to shove, the note, in my opinion, is more valuable. It is it's guaranteed to bring money in because it's a note. It's getting interest paid. Whether the value of the property goes up or down, you don't care because you own the note. You don't own the property. Real estate tanks, you don't care. In fact, real estate tanking might actually put you in a better position. So, worst case scenario, you get the interest on the note. Best case scenario, they default and you end up with the property. Next question. What are the key factors I should consider before purchasing a real estate note? Someone just asked, is there money required to invest in notes? That's the biggest distinction in note investing is yes, you got to have some capital. That's the reason most people don't research it. That's the reason most people don't know about it. That's the reason most people don't take advantage of it. And that's why the people that are taking advantage of it for the most part don't want you to know about it because there's too much money there and they don't want to create competitors. Why would we want to train you? Which we do. Like I said, I want to train you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to call the office and get some more information on how you can be investing in notes and how we can get you going and have your first transactions available to you within 5 to 10 days. The reason we would do that is there's going to be a large number of people, probably about half of all people that go through the program, are going to want to just do this on their own. They're going to say, great, got the information. You have given me all the sources I need for funding to buy the notes. You've given me the sources for both performing and non-performing notes. Where can I access those? We will give you review of the deals that are on the table, tell you why a deal is good, why a deal is bad, what you should look for here, what is the bump in the road or the speed bump over there that could put you in harm's way. So the things you should be considering, number one, don't even think about considering buying and selling notes without an education. Because either way, you're going to get an education. And one of the things that I see with some very savvy real estate investors is they believe that they could just go get the information online, which you can. Absolutely, you can. If you go and research the information online, like all information online, first thing you've got to do is sift through what's real and what's not. So you've got to figure out what's BS, what's not. My partners in this deal, the owners of the company, I don't own any of the company. I'm not a partner in the company. I just am giddy over this, love the opportunity, and want to share it with people like you. The founders of the company's 5 years old. The company is responsible for assisting transactions of almost $1 billion, hundreds of note deal transactions in that process, of course. And like I said, the company's been around. We've got plenty of success stories. In fact, when I decided to partner up with them and make it available, I said, I believe in this education so much, I'd like to put a guarantee on top of it. So I also negotiated with them to offer up a performance guarantee, a money-back performance guarantee. If you do what we tell you to do, you're going to have success. If you're having a hard time with it, we'll even find you the deals that fit your criteria, and you'll be left with just one thing left to do. And the one thing left to do is to pull the trigger, make the deals happen. If after all of that, if we showed you how, which we will, and taught you, and we even brought you the deals and said, look, these are the deals that fit the criteria of what you are asking for, ultimately, it's up to you to make it happen. We're going to create a very simple buy box for you. That's all you have to do. Next question. Let's see. Can you explain the difference between performing and non-performing notes? Which one is better to invest in? Real simply, performing notes are notes that are current. They're notes that payments are being made. They haven't missed any payments. Non-performing note, just the opposite. They have the loan. They're not making payments. Usually it hasn't been foreclosed on, and they're looking for a fast way out, so they're willing to deal. Once again, you're not buying the house, you're buying the loan. So you're not dealing with the homeowner, you're actually dealing with the person who carries the note and holds the note. What's better? It depends on what your stomach is. If you want something secure with good, safe returns, yeah, performing notes are an excellent way to go. because you know what interest rate's being paid, you know what the discount on the note was. And if we were to go to a website right now that listed notes that were performing notes, under just about every single one of those performing notes, you'll see a connotation as to why they are buying or why they're selling the note. And almost always, it's the same thing. Just want to consolidate cash to be able to pour it into some other deals. Same reason a bank sells a note. I'm consolidating cash. I see a different opportunity over here, and that's where I want to put my cash. If you have equity in your home, you understand what I'm talking about. That equity is sitting there, and while it may make you feel safe, it doesn't do anything for you. Myself, I heard Grant Cardone talking about this the other day. Not that I care, but I heard Grant talking about it the other day. Have gotten to a point where we believe there is not a lot of power in owning your main residence. Let me say it again. It's not going to be popular. I'm going to get some pushback, and I don't care. It's just my opinion. Get over it already. I don't think there's a lot of power in owning your own residence unless you're owning your own residence to free someone else up. What do I mean by that? Yes, I will leave Erica with free and clear residences. I will, to make sure that she's protected. Erica will, in the family, will have a trust that pays taxes and any maintenance or anything that would be needed to take care of the property of the main residence for a couple of generations. On the other hand, I will tell her, make sure all the rest of the money is working always, because money that's not working is losing value sitting in an account. Do not think for a moment that it's sitting and appreciating inside of that asset, because velocity dictates that multiplying it, putting it into a deal, taking it back out, putting it back in, taking it back out is the fastest way to leverage that up because of the speed of money. Non-performing notes, massive amount of upside, massive amount of return on investment. Again, yesterday I was shopping for myself and I'm looking at non-performing notes for 30 cents on the dollar on the note. What does that mean? That means, again, if somebody has $1 million home and they owe $800,000 on it, 30% on 800,000 is 240,000. If they're not paying, somebody wants to sell that non-performing note for 30 cents on the dollar. That means I just bought $1 million asset, not an $800,000 note. You actually are putting a lien against the asset, which again means that the bare bones minimum, you own the note. So your note is worth that much. And should they foreclose on the property, should they not pay the note, then yeah, you got $1 million property at a discounted price. So it depends on what your risk tolerance is. My risk tolerance is high. If I'm going to play a game, I'm going to play the game fully. And I am massively, massively interested in non-performing notes. And especially right now, Sarah, who was asking the question, here's why I'm especially interested in non-performing notes. You heard this prediction, Marshall Silver Live. You heard it today. The crap's going to hit the fan, I think, a little bit earlier, certainly right after the election. I think we're going to start seeing some messes come late August, September, October, November for sure. And I said this yesterday, I probably said it the day before, because you need to be thinking about this. It doesn't matter who gets elected in November. If Biden is elected, which I don't even think he's going to actually be on the ballot when the time comes, but that's my prediction. If the incumbent gets elected, then the powers that be, the government itself, doesn't care about the incumbent's success, because the incumbent doesn't care. They can't get a third term. We've seen this again and again, second-term presidents skating through their second term because they've just got no reason to do well. They're not trying to get reelected, and there's no higher office than the office of presidency, so the Peter principle comes into play. The other option is that Trump or somebody else other than Trump, that's not the president, gets elected. Well, guess what? The current presidency, the current administration, is going to blame everything on the previous president, Trump, and also blame it on the new president, even though they're just taking office, so they're not going to care. What's my point in all this? Because of the lockdowns, because of the scamdemic, because of the gross mishandling of the economy during the last 4 years, because of all those things, we're going to see foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, troubled loans, residential, commercial, across the board. We're going to see loans being defaulted on in numbers we've never seen before in history, not since the Great Depression. we are going to see more properties being foreclosed on, and it's going to be quieter. And the reason it's going to be quiet, because it's happening right now, but it's very quiet right now, is the banks definitely don't want everybody quitting all at once, because if everybody said all at once, I'm not making any more payments, I'm upside down, I'm walking away, then all those properties come back to the bank as non-performing loans all at once, which means the value of all those properties is greatly diminished and could even be substantially less than the loan amount. That's why you want to be looking at notes and non-performing notes, because money loves velocity. And right now, you're going to see a boatload of people pulling out equity in their homes, pulling out equity of their business, cashing out assets, liquidating their notes, liquidating those investments, putting as much money into cash as quickly as they can. So, yes, I'm all in on notes. I am all in on the idea of money is made in the money, and I think you should too. Next question. What steps should I take to perform due diligence on my properties? What should I do to do due diligence on my properties? Due diligence, number one, receive the collateral file. What is the collateral file? Everything to do with the property. You're going to have to order a title report. You got to be sure that you're not being scammed on purchasing that piece of property. Order the BPO. What is the BPO? BPO meaning is broker price opinion. What is the broker price opinion? It's just that. It's an opinion. It's what the market thinks the property is worth. Basically, it's appraisal light. So order a copy of the BPO, order the appraisal light, find out what the average expected value of the property is. Order a collateral review. You want to have people smarter than you looking at the downside of that so that you can do what you do best, and that is find opportunities. Let us help you find underperforming loans. Let us help you find opportunities and intelligently bid on them, do the deals looking over your shoulder, make sure you're well trained in all of that. Number 5, validate the property ownership, the property value, and the collateral accuracy. Once again, that is the reason notes are such an excellent investment. Just like real estate, they're collateralized. There's something behind them. You're not investing in air. People ask me all the time about cryptocurrency. Do you invest in cryptocurrency? I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't. I don't invest in cryptocurrency for the same reason that I don't believe in the US dollar. It's fiat. Well, cryptocurrency isn't fiat. It's on the blockchain. It's not regulated for now. It used to be that online poker was not regulated, that it was offshore, and that people could play because the base of operations was offshore. That was until all the casinos lobbied and made the government make laws that outlawed online poker playing, online gambling that wasn't owned by the casinos themselves. You see, the casinos weren't against online gambling. They were against other people being into online gambling and taking a portion of their profit. So you want to make sure you validate the property ownership. You want to make sure the collateral evidence, information, supporting documents are all there, that it all makes sense so that you don't get screwed. That's why you don't want to go find some notes. Go find the websites. And again, we're happy to tell you where to look. We're also going to tell you you're going to pay one way or the other. And because we have an absolute money-back guarantee, as long as you do what we tell you to do on the investment in our training, there's no downside. And then finally, as a part of your due diligence, the final steps, of course, close on the transaction, purchase the note, or make a counter offer if the offer wasn't accepted, or simply realize that it's not a note for you, pass, and walk away. So, could you use other people's money to invest in notes? Yes, Benny, of course you could. You can use other people's money for anything you want. Notes or real estate or a nice trip to Las Vegas, although we don't recommend the latter. What we do recommend, though, is, there's 2 types of people. And why would we offer up this education to people? Number 1, I'm in the education business. Number 2, there's more than enough to go around. Number 3, we aren't even near a saturation point on the number of investors that are inside of notes, which means notes are massively less competitive than the piece of property, the asset itself. So if you would like to not compete at the same level you were competing at before, then by all means. But here's the other thing I really, really really love about note investing. There's no emotion involved. If you're bidding on a property, if you're making offers on a piece of real estate, usually you have to deal with somebody's emotion. If you're buying from investors, it's lessened, yet not really. If you're buying from an investor, the investor may have an inflated idea of what the property is worth. On a note, there's no emotion. Nobody lived in the note. Nobody's baby was born in the bathroom of the note. Nobody got married in the backyard of the note. So the note doesn't have emotional value. It's got real mathematical value. Here's the note at this rate of interest. Here's, what liens are on this. Here's what, what are owed in property taxes on the property subject of the note. Everything's there. It's cleared out. It's all math. There's no emotion. You can say yes, you can say no. Very easy thing to do. If you have any additional questions about notes, let me know. I want to answer them for you right now. Let's see what else we got. What else we got for questions? There we go. Let's see. Did you answer that? Risk assessment. Somebody's asking about risk assessment. Rick. David Patel, forgive me, asking about risk assessment. What are the main risks associated with investing in real estate notes and how can I mitigate them? Not knowing how to properly bid on assets. I mean, you can certainly see the list, but you don't know what industry average is. You don't know what the person on the other side is expecting. What's the range? You don't know the jargon at the very least. How do you intelligently talk about the loan? People often buy too high thinking, yeah, there's profit in there, not recognizing that oftentimes, yes, notes are discounted. That's how you're buying it. And so they're also often discounted on the sale. So you've got to be able to measure that in the equation. Here's something you should really like about note investing is, again, the velocity on note investing is substantially higher than investing in the assets. So one of the other downsides is holding onto the note for too long. Not taking proper exit strategies. At Note Matrix, the company I've partnered up with to help you understand about notes, because number one, the knowledge that they have, I think, is very simple to understand. Vesper, the gentleman who has put together the training program, along with his partner Adam, are very easy to learn from. They spell it out in layman's terms, not bankers' terms, not even real estate investors' terms, just relatable terms that you can understand. Vesper has massive experience inside of the mortgage industry. And then ultimately, I also believe that they have not properly or thoroughly introduced their knowledge to the marketplace. So I'm excited to be the first guy that can come here and bring it to them for that. The other reason is that about half of the people that learn about investing in notes are going to say, yeah, this makes sense. I like this. This is great. And I don't want to do the work. We also will assist people in investing their money directly into notes, only though if they are one of our students. And that's my criteria, by the way. That's my requirement. Why would I require that? I don't want to attract investor dollars. That's not what I'm about. That's not my business. I want people to have freedom, though. If people want to come in, learn about investing in notes, like I said, we have a better than money back guarantee for you. We're going to make it really easy. It's personally supported by me. We're going to show you where the deals are. The only thing that would cause you to fail inside of this learning experience is if you flat out refuse to take the actions we tell you to go take. We hand you properties. We say, this would be a good bid. Place these bids. If you're not able to find a deal inside of there that easily exceeds the investment you made in the training, we'll keep working with you until you do. So as long as you'll do the work, you're assured. What's the return on investment you can expect from investing in real estate notes? Performing notes, usually, like I mentioned, 8, 10%, sometimes up to 20%, depending on how much of a need for instant cash there is for the person that's holding the note. And again, remember, that's what it is. It's all about velocity. It's all about flow. For non-performing notes, not unusual on the note all by itself to see a return of 40 to 80%. And in some case studies, especially if it goes into foreclosure or they default on the note, not unusual to see 100 to 300% returns. So now you know why I've never been excited about real estate investing. I don't like dealing in toilets. I don't like dealing with tenants. I don't like most of the things that have to do with real estate. Do I believe in it? Of course I do. Massive amounts of money for people that are willing to stomach that kind of nonsense. I'm just not. On the other hand, notes, you're not dealing with any of that. It's a fact. Did they make their payment? Did they not? If they didn't make their payment and you want to foreclose and call the note due and payable, you can call the note due and payable. You don't lose anything. If you have the asset, ultimately, yeah, if you're renting the asset out and they don't pay you rent for 3 months before you can evict them, guess what? Nobody's paying you that rent. It's gone. It's a carrying cost. It's an expense. Non-performing notes, in my opinion, are the single biggest opportunity we're about to see. And frankly, I hope you never learn about it if you don't want to make money. Because if you learn about it, you're going to become as giddy as I am. And you're going to say, where has this been all of my life? Why didn't I pay more attention? I know because I did. I'm a smart guy. I know I'm a smart guy. I've known about notes for decades, but because I just was making money hand over fist doing the other things I was doing, didn't look at them sincerely. Because of everything that's happened over the last 4 years, I have been looking for where the puck is going. The puck's going to the banks. If that's not clear to you at this point, that all the money is being funneled back to the banks because of how they've set up structures, because of how they've set up finances, because of how everything is laid out 100%, just like going to Las Vegas. If you go to Las Vegas and you walk into the casino, there is a sign on top of the slot machine that says 98% payback. Why does it say 98% payback? Because it's much better for business than if it says 2% guaranteed loss, which is what it's saying. For every dollar you put in, we're going to squeeze 2 cents until you put that dollar in so many times you got nothing left. That's the casino. The banks are the same thing. They're going to take a point here, a couple points there, interest payments here that are one. There's zero reason that when you make a payment on your loan, that the majority of those first payments should be interest. Why? It's effectively causing the note you thought you had for 7 or 8% at 15 years to be a payment back of 150% of that note. So don't kid yourself for a second. It's creative math. It works. It's honest. It's real. You're just on the wrong side of the equation. So my question to you is, if not me now, who, when will you take the time to learn about note investing? I would like to educate you. I love you. Getting a lot of great questions. Benny, Dustin's making comments. I know this is an area, Dustin, that you are looking at and realizing what a great opportunity it is. Anybody that would like more information on investing in notes, I'd like to talk to you personally. Call the office, 1-800-92-POWER. 1-800-92-POWER. Let Anthony, my executive assistant, know you want to talk to me personally. You want to learn about Note Matrix and our note investing program. You want to hear about my personal money back guarantee, as well as all the details of the program and how you could be receiving a 40% discount if you're one of the first 10 people that jump in and make the call right away. But you got to make the call. We're going to put the number on the screen, 1-800-92-POWER. 1-800-92-POWER. That is the number for our office. Give us a call. And like I said, be giddy with me. Just to finish the thought, on the other hand, there are people that will learn about it. They'll love it. They'll say, this makes sense. Yeah, it works. I feel safe. Then if you want us to, we'll split the profits with you. We'll handle it for you. We'll find the deals. We'll put your money in. We'll take it back out. We'll pay you back and say, hey, do you want to do this again? We are interested in that for sure, but I'm not interested in doing that or even looking at that until you have a thorough knowledge of what the note investing business is, why it's so ridiculously profitable above any other type of real estate transaction you can do. There's nothing that comes close. Nothing. And I challenge anybody who's in the business to show me anything that is more profitable with less stress than investing in real estate mortgage related notes. I'm Marshall Silver. It's been a phenomenal show. It's been great being with you. Once again, call 1-800-92-POWER if you'd like more information on investing in notes. Coming up next month, we've got 4 events going on. We've got Turning Point in Las Vegas. We've got Inner Circle at Prosperity Palace. We have Crush It from the Stage and our best event for Prosperity Alliance, all happening next month. I look forward to seeing you at an event. At the very least, I look forward to seeing you live on the air tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. I'm Marshall Silver, wrapping up another edition of Marshall Silver Live. Take care. Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Silver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show coming up 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. I'm going to give you content, information, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice for having it all. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. So stay tuned.